Hello, welcome back. I wanted to show you my miter saw setup so that you can get an idea of what I did, why I did it, and really, in my opinion, how terrific it works. If you'll notice, the top of the miter saw is level with the bench. What that allows me to do is cut long pieces, exactly the same length if I'm doing a bunch of pieces, and I don't have to worry about eyeballing the cut. I have a way to put in what's called a positive stop, and I'll show you what that is. This is what I would consider a positive stop. I put that there so that it raises it off the table a little bit so sawdust doesn't come into play. I clamp my board in place, and now I can cut pieces all day long exactly the same length. The other great thing about this is that if I'm cutting longer pieces, I have this, which also has a little notch cut into it, so if sawdust doesn't come into play, I screw it down to my table and I can cut longer pieces. Let's say I want to cut 6-foot pieces. Well, then what you do is you clamp a board onto the back of this fence. It comes along, it has a little stop on it, and now you can cut pieces 6, 7, 8 feet long, not a problem, and cut them the same length all day long. The other thing that I really like about this particular saw, and it's probably not what you have, you might have something different, but what I really like about this particular saw is it has a window so that you can actually see the saw blade and profile the saw blade and see exactly where it's going to cut. You draw a line in your board, profile the blade, say, yeah, there's my cut, and away you go. The other terrific thing about this particular saw is the way they've set it up. If you'll notice, the arm that locks the swing arm into place is on both sides, not just one side. What that does is it doesn't allow the saw to have any play as you're bringing it down. It's locked into place and it will cut perfectly straight every single time. It's the biggest saw in the industry, which is great because it'll cut really deep cuts. It's a 15-inch blade and 108 tooth. So that's my miter saw. The other thing that I like is it has an adjustment here so that I can control how far the saw blade goes up. There's a screw in the back, and you loosen that, and then this can come straight up in the air so you can make a cut in a terrifically big piece, and that really makes it nice. I like to put a backstop on the saw because now if I'm cutting crown molding, I have a place to have the crown molding sit. Or if I want to clamp something along, again, I can have this longer, but the actual fence stops at the end of the blade. So out here, this becomes a little bit wobbly. And so that's why I use the Baltic birch, 1/2-inch Baltic birch, because what that does is it's a real stiff piece of plywood. They use it for drawer sides because it's unidirectional. All the plies are in one direction, gives it a terrifically stiff piece of plywood, and it's only 1/2 inch thick. So anyway, that's basically my miter saw table, and this is the way I set it up because, like I said in my first video, I've worked in some of the factories that do production work, and so when I set up my own saw, I set it up for production work, knowing I'm really not going to do any serious production because now I'm retired, but it allows me to do everything very simply. So I don't have to mess with it. I don't have to worry about putting something here to balance the board that I'm cutting. If it's a long board, I have a nice flat table that I'm working on. You can design your table as long or as short as you need to. In my case, I just used an 8-foot piece of MDF for my tabletop, which is inexpensive to change after I've got 1,000,000 screw holes in it. I can, for $20, I have another tabletop, put it down, and off I go again. So anyway, that's the story about my miter saw setup, and you can get an idea for what it looks like. And near the end of the video, I'll go ahead and I'll back this picture up so that you can see the entire thing. Okay, so that's the table in its entirety, and you can see it's 8 feet long, and you can kind of see how I set it up. It's nice and level, very sturdy, doesn't go anywhere, doesn't rattle, doesn't move around, and it works great for me.